we're delighted to be able to honor so many wonderful people today. I'd like to take a few minutes to thank the sponsors for our first Everyday Heroes program, ExxonMobil and CenterPoint Properties. Please. Thank you so much for your support in today's program. We'd also like to recognize and welcome several elected officials who are joining us this morning. State Representative Larry Walsh, Darren Deskin, who is an alderman from the city of Lockport, and Will County Executive Larry Walsh. Now I'd like to introduce our MC this morning, our editor of the Herald News and the Morris Daily Herald, Kate Schott.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us here today. 14 years ago this morning, our nation suffered a terrible tragedy as terrorists tried to undermine our faith in humanity, our country, and each other. While the damage they wrought was horrific, they failed in their goal to shatter us. We saw thousands stand up against the terror. We saw police, firefighters and other first responders, members of the military, and everyday people who, through selfless acts, made an immediate decision to help others. Heroes come in many forms, and the ones we are here to honor today are people who give of themselves without a thought of what it will get them in return. Everyday heroes do good deeds and works, and their kindness benefits our families, friends, neighbors, schools, and in some cases, the earth we live in. We are a stronger community because of their humble, giving natures. And who better to talk about giving selflessly to benefit the community than our keynote speaker, J.D. Ross. J.D. Ross started his education career in the Quad Cities, where he worked in both the Rock Island Public School District and the United Township High School District in his hometown of East Moline. He taught junior high school social studies, high school history and sociology, served as the director of a program for high school dropouts, and as an assistant principal in a junior high school. Luckily for our community, in 1974, he came to Joliet Junior College as the director of the inmate training program. Over the years, he held numerous administrative positions within the academic division of the college, including Dean of Special Programs, Dean of Career Services, and Vice President of Academic Affairs. In February of 1999, he was appointed as the 6th president of the college. He began volunteering during his first year as a teacher when he agreed to tutor at-risk students in reading. He has also been a volunteer coach, a cub master, and a big brother. He has served on numerous boards and held the president's position for the Kiwanis Club of Joliet, the United Way of Will County, and is the Will County representative on the Regional Transportation Authority's board. In 2005, in recognition of his extensive service to the community during his tenure at JJC, the college's Board of Trustees named its highest award in his honor, the J.D. Ross Extraordinary Service Award, and established a scholarship in his name. J.D. attended Black Hawk College in Moline and earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Sociology at St. Ambrose College, now University, and holds a Master of Science in Educational Administration from Western Illinois. J.D. and his wife reside here in Joliet. They have 2 adult children, Michael, who lives in San Diego, and Lynn, who lives in Silver Springs, Maryland. We are delighted J.D. agreed to join us here this morning as our keynote speaker. J.D.
Well, thank you very much, Kate, for your generous introduction. I'm honored to have been invited to speak at this inaugural Everyday Heroes Breakfast. This program is a tremendous way to honor men, women, and students who give selflessly of themselves, asking for and receiving little, if any, recognition in return. I compliment Bob, Kate, and Steve and the Herald News for their leadership role in creating the program, and Tricia Simpson and Jeremy Gray and their respective organizations, ExxonMobil and CenterPoint, for their support to make this program a reality. I, for one, certainly hope that it becomes an annual event. But most of all, I want to congratulate each of you honorees. I read all 16 of your nominations and I am impressed. The committee did a great job of selecting heroes who truly show us how to live life with purpose. When your heartwarming stories of service to others appear in this Sunday's edition of the Herald News, people will learn of your good deeds, and you will be rightfully held in very high esteem. Now, as you know, most good speakers tell good jokes, but I can't remember jokes, so I don't tell them. So consequently, you're probably wondering why I was invited to speak this morning. And actually, we have something in common because I was wondering exactly the same thing. However, after exhaustive research and a lot of ferreting out information, I learned this. The Everyday Heroes Committee decided that they wanted a speaker who was tall, dark, handsome, intelligent, and witty. And because of Tricia Simpson's extensive civic engagement, they went to her to ask her if she knew anyone of that nature. She shrugged her shoulders and said, well, no, I don't really know anyone like that. But if one of those criteria will work, I'll ask JD if he'll do it. So you didn't get tall, dark, handsome, intelligent, and witty. You did get one of those. And in baseball, when you go 1 for 5, the optimist will say, well, it could have been worse. Well, seriously, I don't know if today was specifically chosen for this breakfast because it's September 11th, and in fact, Steve just told me that it wasn't. But clearly on September 11th, 2001, against a horrible background of death, destruction, and anguish, thousands of everyday heroes emerged to provide aid and comfort to their brothers and sisters. And most, like you, never had their stories of selflessness, courage, valor, and determination told. Sure, there was significant coverage of the deeds of first responders, all which was very warranted, but too few stories of the heroic deeds of the little people surfaced, in large part because those stories were not known. In many ways, this is sad, but I'm happy that the Herald News has chosen to start a program that will recognize the heroes in Will County, hopefully for a long time to come. You know, I've often wondered what allows, what causes, what compels a person to act without regard to self, to help others when they themselves are hurting, to give assistance to those who may have greater material wealth than themselves, or to give anonymously to people that they do not know. Well, I don't have the answers to these questions. I know some will say that it is their belief in God. Others will say that they had good role models for caring and giving. Some will say that they are paying it back or paying it forward. Others will say, I saw a need and I decided to do something about it. Still others do it for the recognition or with some hope that there will be monetary gain to follow. Well, I wish we had the time to hear each of your stories today, because I'm willing to bet that we would have a much clearer picture about what drives people to do the right things. And I'll bet that in listening to those stories, we would find plenty of commonality of purpose in your responses. Why? Because those who nominated you told wonderful stories of your compassion, courage, vision, integrity, selflessness, perseverance, and humility. Now, some of you are probably wondering why I got involved in so many different organizations and causes during my life. And I can tell you in a 2-word answer, and it is simply I-O. That's O-W-E, I-O. My indebtedness struck a chord with me back in 1965. I was a college student when our home was severely damaged by a huge flood on the Mississippi River. My mother was a widow with 3 kids in college and 1 in high school. And had it not been for organizations like the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, the United Fund, plus numerous family and friends who helped restore our home and came to our aid in a time of need, I probably would have quit school and not known the life that I know today. In fact, I believe that my life without a college degree would probably be a lot different than the life that I know today. So after this experience, I did vow to give back to my community. And as Kate mentioned, and as soon as I graduated my first semester teaching junior high school, I volunteered for a Saturday morning tutoring program. So I understand full well that God has been good to me and my family. It was never more evident than in our decision to move to Joliet in 1974. My wife and I have both had good careers. Our children received a good education. We've made lifelong friends, and we've supported many wonderful causes. But through it all, we have come to fully understand three important things. One is, we all owe someone for investing in our lives. And while in most cases we're never able to repay that individual person, we can pay it forward, so to speak. The second lesson that I learned, and even though I had difficulty with this concept as a kid, it really is better to give than to receive. And my third lesson is, an individual never stands as tall as when they bend down to offer a hand up to someone in need. Again, I read the nominations of all of our honorees today, and your stories certainly indicate that you understand these points as well, if not better than I do. Each day as I grow older, I come to recognize that all of us are going to be called upon to do more. Government, whether local, state, or national, cannot solve all of our societal ills. While government can provide limited financial resources, it cannot provide love, caring, compassion, and empathy. These can only be offered by human beings. So it is time for all of us to dig deep and to once again help our families, our friends, and our neighbors, as though we really do live in a village. The concept that it takes a village seems to have all but disappeared in this country. We need to bring it back. Some of us don't even know our neighbors, and worse yet, some of us are afraid of our neighbors. How troubling is this? So I close these brief remarks by asking you a question. Do you owe? And if the answer is yes, what will you do about it? The people of Will County are counting on you and waiting for you to respond. I love a quote by Winston Churchill, who said, "You make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give." Again, my congratulations to all the honorees. God bless each of you for your outstanding contributions to the people of our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, JD, for your inspiring remarks. Earlier this year, we asked our readers to nominate people in Will and Grundy counties, people who give their time, talents, resources, and more to help others and their community. We refer to these people as everyday heroes, the people who through their words and actions make a positive difference in the lives of those around them. Selecting our first Everyday Hero winners from the more than 50 nominees we received was a difficult task. We literally sat there and were like, which one don't we give to, because they were really great. All I can say is we're lucky to have so many wonderful people living in our area who care so much for others. The 16 who were chosen embody the best of our communities. These people did not seek this accolade, and many seem surprised. Others think of the work they do as extraordinary. Many told us the reasons that we chose to honor them, whether it be raising money for cancer research, or sending care packages to troops overseas, or just doing the little things to help out whenever needed, were ordinary, and they didn't expect to be praised for it. That attitude, that humbleness, is in large part why they were chosen. The definition of a hero includes being a person admired for fine qualities. What could be a finer attribute than doing good things because it is the right thing to do? At this time, I would like to invite Tricia Simpson from ExxonMobil and Jeremy Gray from Centerpoint Properties to join me as we recognize this year's Everyday Heroes. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to read the name of a recipient, say a little bit about him or her, why she was chosen. I'm going to tell you right now, it was really hard boiling down all of the stories into just a couple sentences, but we did our best. We'll then welcome that everyday hero to come forward so that we may present you with an award of recognition from either Tricia or Jeremy. Our first recipient is Derek Breen of Shanahan. Derek was nominated and selected because he is admired for his noble qualities and great courage. Derek proudly served our country as a Marine, is vice president for the Shanahan District 17 School Board, and always keeps what is best for his community at the forefront of his mind. And he saved the life of a complete stranger after he registered 10 years ago on a bone marrow registry, and without a second thought agreed to donate his marrow when he was a match for a man he never met. He now serves as an advocate for others to do the same. Derek, would you please join us? Congratulations. Our next recipient is Madison Dobbs of Shorewood. Madison has helped raise money for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life through various participations. This past summer, she spent 20 to 30 hours a week babysitting, unpaid, for people who were sick and needed help. She volunteers at Troy Middle School, mentoring students with learning disabilities. She also helps to care for an elderly neighbor who lives alone. Did we mention she's just 16? Madison. Our next recipient is Sammy Henderson of Shorewood. Sammy has successfully fought cancer for more than 5 years. Her "I know God has a plan for me, I just don't know what" attitude stems from a love of community service, which has included speaking at St. Baldrick's events, organizing blood drives, and involvement in too many activities at Joliet West to list. Through it all, she shows compassion to all she meets, such as a young man new to her school last year in a wheelchair. Educators at West told us that Sammy was instrumental in making him feel at home. Sammy. Vince Hernandez of Bolingbrook. Vince is filling his spare time during retirement by being an active member of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, which offers financial and emotional help to those in need. He also volunteers for Boy Scouts and spends time as an interpreter at a free medical clinic. Vince has also found time to teach English to recent immigrants, has delivered food to the needy at their homes, and delivers the Eucharist to parishioners who are too sick to come to Mass. Vince. Our next recipient is Maddie Holloway of Shanahan. Maddie was selected because she is always giving to people in need. Not only did this young lady shave her head for St. Baldrick's for 3 years running, right? 3? Okay. She's donated proceeds from her baked goods to the Bedford Park Firefighters Pink Heels events. She's active in Girl Scouts and has placed wreaths for the military at graves at Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery. She also has volunteered for and donated to the hungry. Maddie. Our next recipient is Jeremy Hilka of New Lenox. Jeremy is one of the 3 meteorologists who run the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page Joliet Weather Center, which I can tell you we at the paper personally use every time any type of bad weather starts rolling into the area. He was also selected for his dedication to his teaching career at Joliet Catholic Academy, a job where he can, he told us, change hearts and souls to God, where he not only teaches his classes, but is the moderator for JCA's Respect Life Club, among other activities. Jeremy. Our next recipient is Virgil Kemp of Joliet. As of 2007, Virgil has worked as a nonprofit under Helpers of Mother Earth and with volunteers has done more than 300 cleanups of the area. He uses social media to gather groups to pick up trash so we can enjoy a more beautiful landscape. He said he feels he does this work for free because he feels a responsibility to God to take care of what has been given to us. Virgil.
The honor of this award is magnified so many times by the people that have done things with me. And some of them are sitting over there at that table. A lot of them not only are doing something with Helpers of Mother Earth, but they're also donating time with other groups. So the other people that have been involved with Helpers of Mother Earth just make this award so much special.
Thank you. Our next recipient is Joseph Kukushka Jr. of Shanahan. Joseph took up a collection of school supplies such as pens, pencils, and markers as students cleaned out their desks, lockers, and backpacks at the end of the last school year. He sorted, cleaned the names off, and reorganized the gently used school supplies, which were then recycled, repackaged, and distributed to students in Peru who normally would have nothing else to start the school year with. Joseph. Congratulations. Our next recipient is Kristen Coppers of Shanahan. As a dedicated teacher at Joliet West High School, Kristen has volunteered for numerous school activities and has been able to get students involved in paying it forward too. She said she brings society and the children's own lives into what she teaches. One parent told us that while some teachers open a book and give assignments, Kristen teaches. She has graciously cared for family members battling cancer and has volunteered extensively in many ways to raise money for cancer research. Kristen. Our next recipient is Karen Looper of Coal City, who could not be with us today due to a previously scheduled vacation. We have sent her her award. And she was selected as an everyday hero because of the everyday things she does to help others. She's available all the time to help anyone who needs it in any way, whether it be a ride to the airport, volunteering for a fundraiser, helping others with the loss of a loved one, and so much more. And like I said, we will get Karen her award. Our next recipient is the Memorial Squad Volunteers of Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery in Elwood. This group, formed in 2003, is 120 plus members who are all volunteers and are a self-proclaimed band of brothers. They provide a final military memory and tribute to those who have served in the U.S. military. The main duty of the all-volunteer squad is to provide a military bureau service at no charge for any honorably discharged veteran, and this group does about 4,000 services annually. The Memorial Squad of Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery.
Ourselves on the back. This is for the 43,000 plus veterans who lay to rest in our Garden of Stone. The hollow ground is Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery. Because if it wasn't for them and their sacrifices, the sacrifices of their loved ones and their families, we couldn't be here today to do what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next recipient is Darlene Perler of New Lenox. Darlene is well-known and active in the community. She embodies one of Trinity Service's core values, servant leadership, at work and in her personal life. She has worked with people with intellectual disabilities at Trinity for 18 years, whether it's taking residents out for ice cream, to get haircuts, shop, attend community events, and more. I think she took a road trip with one of them, if I'm not mistaken. She is known for her extraordinary thoughtfulness and generosity, always going above and beyond. Darlene. Our next recipient is Allie Rios of Joliet. Allie organizes collections for holiday items for the children and mothers at Lamb's Fold. She has been able to recruit her friends, family, and coworkers to adopt a child or two to make sure they have gifts to open on Christmas. She does it in memory of her mother, as she remembers her mother going into McDonald's and buying meals and passing food out to the homeless on Christmas. Doing what she does for Lamb's Fold, she told us, makes her feel like a part of her mother is there with her during the Christmas season. Allie. Our next recipient is Officer Debbie Shenick of Lockport. Debbie is a police officer with the Lockport Police Department. She organizes and works several fundraisers for Special Olympics Illinois. The organization of Special Olympics has always had a special place in her heart due to an older brother with a disability being involved in the program. She works diligently to bring other law enforcement officers and stations into fundraisers for Special Olympics, with her Lockport station raising $22,000 of the $4 million raised in 2014 in Illinois. If I'm not mistaken, your next endeavor is next weekend, joining another 20 people or so in trying to pull a 95-ton jet at O'Hare. Yes, in a fundraiser for Special Olympics, September 19th, if you're looking to somewhere to donate, people. Debbie. Our next recipient is Dick Schuster of Joliet. Dick has been the president of JCTV since 1984. He devotes up to 50 hours on a volunteer-only basis every week, taping and editing programs and programming the channel. Not only is he responsible for coordinating all JCTV volunteers, he is always willing to help broadcast civic, social service, and municipal organizations events for the benefit of the Joliet community. And he does this, he told us, because he simply wants to give back to the community. Dick Schuster. Okay. We appreciate you taking it on his behalf. Okay. And last, but certainly not least, Debbie Smothers of Joliet. Debbie is the creator of Operation Care Package, an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that sends packages to deployed troops. Because of Debbie's efforts, along with the many who volunteer alongside her, Operation Care Package has been able to lift the spirits and morale of men and women who need a little taste of home as they serve our countries overseas. They can send up to 150 packages a week and up to 10,000 during the holiday season. Debbie. If anyone who is present who nominated one of our recipients, we would ask you to please stand so we could thank you for introducing us to such wonderful people. In the interest of time, you've heard a very brief description of why these everyday heroes were selected this year. And as I noted, we had a hard time just picking the highlights about each person. And this Sunday's Herald News and Morris Herald News will include a special pull-out section called Everyday Heroes that features an article about each one of our winners and all of the wonderful things that they do. Allison Salk, one of our freelance reporters, wrote all of them for us, and I hope after reading the stories you agree she did a wonderful job at capturing the essence of what makes each person and recipient special. Copies of that section will be making their ways around to you right now. You get you get one early on to get a little sneak peek of this. If you visit our website, theherald-news.com on Sunday, you'll find the articles, the photos, and videos of the recipients as well. We would also like to thank Dick Schuster and yet another kind act for arranging the recording of this event, and he will be providing copies of the video to each of our recipients, which the newspaper will take care of getting to you in a short time. Thank you again to our heroes, nominators, and sponsors for making today possible, and we thank you, all of you, for attending today. We hope that you leave inspired by what a difference everyday people can make for a community, and I know I am. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.